Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to tell you about a small campground in northern Georgia that probably is it is my favorite campgrounds of all the campgrounds in the country I've been to. This is my favorite. And by the way, this is where it all started. Everything, backpacking, everything, Full Moon Adventures, Trusted Trail Podcast, Ariane and me. Everything happened at this campground. The beauty that this campground offers, it is absolutely beautiful. Dockery Lake Campground, northern Georgia, in Dahlonega. Everything started at this campground with good friends, good people, and the beginning of my relationship with Ariane happened right here. In fact, it happened at this very campsite. So to Jim and Lisa, miss you guys. So to get to Dockery Lake, you're going to come out of Dahlonega, Georgia. If you're coming up from the south and going through Atlanta, that is going to be off of I-400 or 400, basically until 400 ends. And that is your turn left to go up to Dockery Lake. Dockery Lake is located on Highway 60. On your way to Suches, Georgia to get here. This is a reserve-only camp area. You'll have to reserve it on reservation.gov. It used to be first come, first serve, but after COVID, of course, everything changed. $8 for a night, which is still a bargain. Dockery Lake has 12 campsites. Most of them are going to be tent sites. Nothing is really level out here, and the road to get into Dockery Lake is rough at best. You're going to come down off of a ridge, so you're probably better off not towing something. If you are going to tow, the only places, you've only got 3 spots that can accommodate small campers, and I mean like small, like maybe a small pop-up, maybe an A-frame, maybe a little guy max, maybe an R-pod, but they're going to have to be very small, and don't expect level. As you can see on the right side of Dockery Lake, or where all the campsites are on the right side of the road, they're really big. I mean, the lake is right over here. You have access to the Dockery Lake Trail. Again, this is where you're going to park, and then you've got some mega campsites, especially for tents. Of course, you do have water at Dockery Lake. It is potable water. It's all done by a hand pump, and it all works. Again, sites number 5, 7, and 9 are about the only rigs you're going to have to be able to park a camper in there. And you're not going to have a lot of space, but obviously I was able to pull the pop-up here. This is site number 5, and number 5 has 2 very large tent spots. All garbage at Dockery Lake goes into bear-proof garbage cans, and they're pretty good at picking them up. I never really see these things overflowed. The natural force is out here quite a bit, and of course they have small bathrooms with flushing toilets. Again, this is site number 9, so you can see you have plenty of room to pull in and have your car, and probably another car. There's the size of the tent pad. You can see how big these things are, and then of course you'd be right next to the bathrooms. So 5, 7, and 9 are probably your best spots if you're going to tow a very, very small camper trailer. If you pick any of the campsites on the left side of Dockery Lake Road, you're going to be backing this thing uphill, and they're not. Some of them are pretty nice, but some of them are pretty small too. This is probably the biggest one of all the sites that you have to back into. You're not pulling forward. All the sites are back in, but this one's up on a hill. All the ones on the left side are up on the hill. So do your due diligence when choosing a site here at Dockery Lake. So that's a small tour of Dockery Lake. Of course, you've got the lake. You've got a trail that goes around the lake, and of course, you've got the Dockery Lake Trail. Don't tow anything large out of Dahlonega coming up to Dockery Lake or on your way to Suches. It's a very windy road. Goes up a long way. Again, very windy. And but bring a tent. Enjoy. There's no cell service here. There's nothing here except some water. They take care of this place. The Chattahoochee National Forest does a great job taking care of this place. So if you're going to come up, do your due diligence. It's up to you, and it's your responsibility to make sure you know what you're doing when you get up here. It's going to be a chilly night. Good thing I'm drinking coffee. So you kind of know when something happens in your life and that little minute significant moment in time catapults you into other different things and meeting other people, and you look back like 20 years later and you say, if I hadn't done that one thing, I would not be here today. And that's kind of like our story and how this whole nomadic thing happened. And it's because of this area. The Appalachian Trail is 3.5 miles away from this camper. It's right along the Dockery Lake Trail that you can catch at Dockery Lake Campground, leads you right up to the Appalachian Trail, which I hiked in 2003. So I guess, in a way, had I not made that decision to hike the Appalachian Trail in 2003, I don't think I'd be here today. You know, the funny thing, when I hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2003, I walked right past the Dockery Lake Trail and didn't give it one iota of a thought, not any kind of thought at all. I walked right past it, and it ended up being one of the most magical trails that I've ever done. You know, still after 20 years, the biggest question I get when I tell people I hiked or hiked the AT, their question is, was it hard? My answer is, yeah, it was really freaking hard. I never thought I would hike the whole thing, but I ended up doing it. Probably quit a million times on the trail. But despite myself and despite people I met on the trail, for some reason, somehow, I ended up finishing. So, you know, all my backpacking videos are still on our channel. You can still look at all the backpacking videos, all the how-tos, all the gear reviews. Some of that gear I still use today, but they're on our channel. It's kind of cool. Brought these tomatoes all the way back from Arizona from my garden. Very cool. But how did I find Dockery Lake? Like, did I just find it on the map? No, actually, Dockery Lake's a pretty hidden gem in the National Forest up here near Dahlonega. I was working as a guide at REI. I was working in their outdoor school program, and I worked in the camping section at REI. And I just love taking people out in the wilderness. And a friend of mine who I got to know real well, her name was Lisa. Lisa one night came into REI and said, "Hey, we're going to meet a bunch of people at this campground called Dockery Lake. Do you want to come out?" I'm like, "Sure. Yeah, no problem." She said, "Oh, it's really easy to get to." Well, it's not easy to get to. And when you're driving here at 11 o'clock at night, it is complete blackness. I did find it. So Lisa, thank you for introducing me to Dockery Lake. I will never forget you. But because of Lisa introducing me to Dockery Lake, I then in return introduced hundreds of people to Dockery Lake. And I introduced one of them who was part of our Full Moon Adventure group, and his name was Jim. And Jim came to Dockery Lake all the time. It was his favorite place to come. Lisa and I did a lot of camping here, along with Chris and Kat, who we were able to boondock with in Moab and got to know each other on the road. And we also boondocked with them in Sedona. I met them here at Dockery Lake because of Lisa. They were part of a larger outdoor group. And, we had some really good times here. Unfortunately, Lisa was killed a few years ago in a domestic abuse, violent relationship. And, she's no longer with us. When I had Full Moon Adventures, one of the things I used to do is I used to have like really side classes, and we would get together at my house and talk about backpacking food and cook backpacking food. And I invited, I had the group and I had two people join that. One of them was Jim Gerald, and the other one was a girl named Ariane Petrucci. And I had hiked with Ariane one time on the Atlanta Beltline. It was a rural trail, and met her. I'm like, "Man, you would be great as a trip organizer." She's like, "No, I would never do that." And so we met, we talked, and she came to my cooking class, my backpacking cooking class in my apartment. And we kind of got to know each other. And she came into REI one time and asked, "Hey, I'm looking for a like a mattress, sleeping mattress." And so we talked to her. I said, "Hey, I'm going to go camping with a friend of mine. It's called Dockery Lake. Would you be interested in coming camping?" And she said, "Yeah, where do I go?" And so the very first time Ariane and I really, truly became friends was here at Dockery Lake. Wasn't really a date. We were just friends. I guess you could probably call it a first date had we known we were dating. But our very first time together, we took an air mattress, blew it up. A friend Brian, it was like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning maybe. Our friend Brian got his harmonica out, and we watched the meteor shower floating on an air mattress in the lake. And that was the first time Ariane and I had gone camping together. So, Full Moon Adventures became a business and became an LLC, and Ariane and I developed our relationship, and we would go backpacking everywhere. And we put these trips together, and we became guides, and we got our wilderness first aid and all the certifications, wilderness first responder, blah, blah, blah. And we started taking people out on guided trips everywhere. And so we probably in the years have probably, I don't know, maybe 200 people, maybe more, here at Dockery Lake. And of course, one of those people was Jim Gerald, who we introduced to Dockery Lake And, you know, he loved it. He came out here all the time. You know, up until 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, from when I'm making this video, which is October, I don't know, 10th, I think it is. Jim was here with his daughter and was introducing her to Dockery Lake for the first time. And so we were supposed to be camping with Jim this week. Jim was supposed to be here right now. He had cancer and he didn't make it. We were about 2 weeks short of coming up and seeing him and spending time with him at Dockery Lake, which was a place I was introduced to, which was a place I introduced Ariane to. Ariane introduced Jim to. Jim introduced his daughter to. And so we're here. Okay, well, we got it all packed up. We're ready to head out. I'm hoping this isn't our last time at Dockery Lake. It sure was bittersweet. It's a beautiful campground. Jim's daughter came out last night and camped with us. It was really super special to spend time with her and just tell all kinds of stories about Jim and our adventures in Dockery Lake and North Georgia, the Appalachian Trail, all of it. So anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I know it may not be relatable to a lot of people, but I'll probably watch it over and over again for our story. So anyway, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you later. And we'll see you on the trail, perhaps. So hopefully this won't be our last time at Dockery. It was a beautiful stay.
Yeah, it always is.
Yep.
There's something really special about Dockery.
Yeah.
It's just the most special place, and it just, I think probably because it holds so many memories for us. But yeah, super cool getting to spend last night with Esme, Jim's daughter. It was really, really special to reconnect with her, but almost to close out the fact that we were here and there was no Jim as anticipated, and then to close it out with her being here, and we laughed. We shed tears, of course, but it was just a very special
We've come full circle in this place, haven't we?
Yeah.